good.
I'm going to do the big man, Saint Nick.
Saint Nick.
The guy who
I love him.
Santa Claus is based off of.
Before you begin,
I'm going to wait for that to finish. That's what I'm
all
doing.
right. But did you see the Saint series that Martin Scorsese did?
Is it out?
I don't know if it's
saw
out.
it.
I like
I know
how
it's
you guys
coming
are yelling
soon.
now.
Yeah, stop screaming over the fucking thing.
It's nature.
You have control of it. And you're still doing it.
It's nature. I don't control. Well, I do control nature, but you know.
We went over this.
All right.
Oh my god!
It's not
look
gonna
at my
go
car.
on. We're good.
All right, well, you were speaking. What did you want to talk about?
The Saint thing. Did you see the show?
I saw that. I saw a trailer.
It looks cool. I want to watch it.
Yeah.
You brought a lot.
That was it. I just wanted to know what you thought about
Brought a
it.
lot to that.
Saint Nick.
So Saint Nick, the real guy, who Santa Claus is obviously the template for, was born around sometime around 300 A.D.
Okay.
in Asia Minor, which is modern-day Turkey.
Oh, he's a Turk.
No,
Oh, okay.
Modern day
the
Turkey.
Turks were not there yet.
Okay.
He's a Greek. This is the Eastern Roman Empire.
What's his name? Like Papadopoulos?
His name is Nicholas.
No, but like, what's his last name?
Jesus
I don't know
Christ.
his last name.
Okay.
He's a reporter.
Stephanopoulos. The saint of news.
He's known. He's extremely well regarded in his hometown. He's a wealthy guy. He comes from a very wealthy family. They have lands.
Yeah.
They're Christians. His father's time, like right around the time he was born, was the time of Diocletian, which Diocletian is probably the worst the Christians ever had it in Rome.
Boring. I'm sorry. I thought it was really funny.
It is really funny. That's the problem.
It's going all over their lawn.
By the time he was an adult, it was Constantine's reign, who everything had kind of gone 180 for the Christians by that point.
wish
He
we did what
uses
we were
his
gonna
wealth to like feed the hungry.
Oh, like a
and clothe the
charity?
sick. Extremely charitable.
Okay.
The most famous story of why he became Santa Claus
Yeah.
is he became aware of a family that had recently become very poor.
They broke in the
They
house
lost
of the
all
night
their money.
and ate their milk and cookies.
Your shit's
He left them with nothing.
Your stupid machine is staining my car.
The
my
father
car.
of this family was going to sell his 3 daughters into prostitution,
Oh my God.
like one at a time, too. He's like, all right, well, the first one's got to
Right
go.
on.
Yeah. So
Everything must go
Every
sale.
time he got wind of this, he would go
He
to
bought
the
one.
house,
They became his elves.
and he would throw a bag of gold through the window to keep them out of
Do you
the
think?
whorehouse.
Do you think
Let
the
him
guy?
talk.
Wait. Do you think?
Jesus
Do you think the dad though just kept going? I'm gonna have to sell one of these kids into prostitution
Well,
again.
he wanted to figure out where this money was coming from, so the third time he kept all the windows closed.
Okay.
So Nick had to climb up on the roof and throw it down the chimney. And they just happened to be drying some clothes at the bottom of the chimney, and the gold fell into a stocking.
Really?
Yes, that is the story.
I-
That's the legend.
That's awesome. I never heard that.
Legend.
So he became a priest, and as many priests at the time did, he went on pilgrimage to Jerusalem.
Okay.
While there, well, he fell in love with the city and like wanted to stay there forever.
Okay.
But while there, he had a vision from God. Christ came to him and told him, "You got to go back. Got to go back to." He's from the city of Myra. Myra is like the regional capital of Asia Minor. He's like, "You got to go back, and that's where you belong." So he goes back, and when he gets there, right after he arrives, the bishop of the city dies. And
Okay.
the elders of the church don't know what to do, like who's going to be the next bishop, and they get a vision from Christ saying, it's got to be him, this new guy that just arrived, nobody
Yeah.
knows. And they make him the bishop.
Wow.
Yes. Now, big thing at this time, there was a lot of heresies. You know,
Blaspheming.
The church is very new. Well, not very, 300 years old, but...
I mean, that's relatively
yes.
new. And
But, you know, they don't have mass communication. There's not a lot of organization. People come up with their own ideas about things, and there's a lot of problems, and nobody can get shit straight. The biggest heresy at the time was by this guy, Arius. Arius was a priest who was saying, he was teaching people
like the wrong shit.
that Jesus was not the same as God. He was like a lesser God. like a man.
He's like a
chosen
demigod.
Yeah,
like a Hercules.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is called Arianism. It was becoming very popular. So
Does it still exist?
No.
Okay.
What, you never heard of the Aryan Brotherhood?
So Constantine, realizing that there was going to be a lot of problems with this, not just that, but other heresies too.
Other things popping up.
Decides that we need to get all the church leaders together and hammer out an agreement on what official doctrine is.
We need to come up with the canon.
And they go to Nicaea, which is a city in Asia Minor. It's the Council of Nicaea. It's a big fucking
Modern day Turkey.
Yes.
It's nice.
Arius is there, and essentially these priests have arguments with each other until they figure out what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
So Nicholas is very passionate, and he gives, a big
An emphatic
speech.
thing.
Yes. And it goes over well, but it does not sway Arius whatsoever. Arius just keeps preaching his bullshit.
No, he's like, no, he's a demigod. That's the deal.
Nick can't take it anymore. Walks over to Arius and punches him in the face.
Hell yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah, Nick.
That's my Santa.
That's why Santa's always a badass in like Violent Night and shit.
So Arius immediately appeals to the emperor, who's sitting there. Constantine is there. And there is a law that says no one can do violence in front of the emperor.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So he's like, this guy is clearly a criminal. You have to have him arrested. And Constantine's like, yeah, you're right. So they throw him in the dungeon.
Oh, shit.
And while he's in the dungeon, all of the priests get the same vision from the Virgin Mary, who shows up and tells them, no, Nicholas is correct. This is the way. Not kill him, but this man is a heretic.
Okay.
So they release Nick, and that is the basis now by which
For
the
the
Council
religion.
of Nicaea happens, which is one of the most important things ever.
Yeah, documents in Christianity.
Every week we say the Nicene Creed in the Catholic
What's the
Church.
Nicene Creed?
It's like the list of what we believe.
Oh, yeah?
Right? Yeah.
Did you say it in Latin?
No.
Okay.
Not anymore. That's old school.
But do you know it? Like,
Do I know it in Latin? No.
No, do you know it in
general?
English?
Yeah.
Can you say it?
I don't want to recite prayers on the show.
Is it a prayer?
Yes.
Okay. You can't just say what it is because I don't know. All right,
We
fine.
believe
I don't.
in one God, the Father, the Almighty, maker of heaven and earth. It goes on. and
Okay,
on.
okay.
It's very long.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
I don't know it. I'm genuinely asking.
I've sent it to you before, actually, because you asked me about it once.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
He didn't read
Okay.
it.
You didn't read it.
You expect me to remember a prayer you sent me in a
I'm just
text
saying.
message like 6 years ago or whatever? I do remember us having this conversation.
Right. So he is also known for praying and stopping storms on the sea.
Really?
Yeah, he did this a bunch of times. Like, if there's bad weather, he can put
He was cloud bursting?
He's cloud bursting.
Oh, hell yeah.
He's like TJ.
So Saint Nick can just end a storm.
Storms with just some prayer.
I think he visited us. It looks like it's clearing up.
Brian's going to call himself a saint and get haunted for the next
This
5
has made
years
him
again.
very popular with sailors. Sailors love Saint Nick. So like,
Okay.
before they go on
Yeah.
journeys, voyages, they'll do a prayer to Saint Nick.
Patron
Okay.
saint of sailors.
So when he died, they buried his bones in Myra, in his church. Okay?
Yeah.
And they stayed there for about 700 years. And then one day, the Pope in Rome, just before the Turks were going to invade the region
Yeah.
and take it over, Islamic Turks.
Yeah.
The Pope in Rome gets a vision, and it tells him, we need to send somebody to go get the bones of St. Nick. So he does. He sends
Or they'll be stuck there.
He sends some sailors to go to the church, and the monks don't want to give it up, but they explain it like, this is orders from the Pope. We got to do this.
Yeah.
This is Eastern Orthodox now.
Okay.
They don't really like the Pope, but the sailors more or less steal the bones.
Okay.
Break into his tomb and steal them and bring them back to the city of Bari, where they have since been a giant, like, pilgrimage spot where people go
go
and
to
venerate
see-
them. They give off manna,
What?
which is like a holy liquid that the bones produce to this day.
Wait.
Really?
Yeah.
So-
I
so we
can
can-
go get some manna?
Yes.
So we can get manna from Saint Nick's
Yes.
bones.
Yes.
What do you do with it?
So they're in
I
like
assume
this,
you have to use
they're
it for
in like this
magic.
crypt that you can look down into.
Uh-huh.
And they've been opened once in the last like 1,000 years, and it was in the 60s.
Okay.
When that happened, a guy cataloged all of them. They're still in amazing condition for being like over 1,000 years old. They're almost 2,000 years old, right?
The bones, yeah.
And they're like not decayed. They're in great condition. And just recently, Josh Gates did an episode of his show.
Josh Gates?
Yes.
No way.
He put a camera down into the crypt, and they're still there.
Oh, wow.
And the priests of the church will extract manna from the bones every so often, like they send a thing down and suck up the liquid, and they put it in holy water.
That can't be safe, right?
Anyway, they're
it's
still
saint
there.
juice. It's got to be good for you.
Turns out,
Anthony, you didn't drink your saint juice this morning.
I don't know if you're supposed to drink it. I don't think you drink it.
I think you just put it in a vial, I assume.
Brian, what are you doing? Oh, I'm all fat. I just have fucking juice.
I got my saint juice.
I need to be blessed.
You ever hear manna from heaven?
Yeah.
You know what that is? What that refers to? It's a story about the Hebrews when they left Egypt and they were in the desert and they were starving to death. It's like just they prayed for food and it appeared in the desert on the sand.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's supposedly it's the same thing as that.
Okay. I heard of blood from the heavens.
That too. Sacred, whatever I
It's
said.
the same thing, really.
So they didn't get all the bones. They left some behind.
Mm-hmm.
So about 2 decades after those guys came,
Alice in
and stole the
Chains
bones,
came. Played
the
these
Venetians. Now the Turks have come.
bones. Okay.
The church is abandoned. It's like in ruins. The Venetians come and scoop up what's left of the bones. They bring them to Venice. So there's a second shrine with the rest of his bones. In 1995, they did some renovations on that church and opened up the crypt. The same guy who did all of the cataloging of the bones back in the 60s did them again in Venice this time and put together essentially the whole skeleton. And it's the same person.
Yeah.
Like undoubtedly
He built
it's
him,
the
yeah.
same person.
Like, we could probably DNA test it
They've
now.
got like
Yeah.
all of the bones except for one piece. And that final piece is a piece of his pelvic bone, which today is in Chicago.
What?
So apparently a reliquary in Chicago, a guy running that, bought it from the French. I don't know exactly the story about how it ended up with them.
Yeah.
But he's had it for a while, and it's been scientifically studied, and they DNA tested it, and it is without a doubt the same skeleton as the other two.
And it's just missed.
It's one little piece of bone about this big in fucking Chicago.
Do you think you owe it to the world to, like, put it back where it belongs? Like,
Well, where does it belong? You know?
At least
would
with the
put it-
rest of them.
I put it with the rest of his pelvis, you know? Like, come on. What's it doing in Chicago?
Just glue it back together, man. What are you doing?
And that's Saint Nick.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Santa.
Yeah.
That's good.
I like the stocking story.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's let it snow, really.
Let it snow. Lay tits now.
Let's it snow.
Well, SNL.
Yeah.
Every time I see that phrase, that's all I think about now.
That's perfect. Look at that.
Oh, this is
Bonjour,
perfect.
mademoiselle. I'd like
My
to see
car
it.
is
It's
very stained.